We can slide to the next one because everybody already heard the topic. Yeah, so I will tell a little bit about what will be contained in this presentation. I will explain what exactly means hard by the question, the methods of the finding for the research, what I used for understand for getting a conclusion, description of action. It would be describe what was in the summer camp, how it worked and how I worked. The findings, it would be you will see, and the devices. I think this is for me the most important part. It's what I would love to share to people, what would be easier to them. Yeah. So I divided the question to the four mainly parts. It's emotional, communication, physical, and professional. In the emotional is stressful, responsibility, high level of uncertainties. Why so? Because I would have an experiment to understand what's in the end of the summer camp or the first time. What would be the level? Because I would have from 10 to 0, 10 where is the highest one, 0 is the lowest one. Yeah, we can slide next. So the method that I used was action research. Because I was the assistant of a leader, I was inside of this everything. I have the photo diary. I have the session with my leader when we have a reflection and we talked about everything, what was our problems, where we need to improve. Then we had a teamwork sessions when we had 26 people who are working in the summer camp who had like at the end of the day a meeting where everybody talked and everybody also discussed, and also had the forms. In forms, I mean, I had a conversation with the people who also worked first time and how hard was this for them. Yeah. So a little bit about what was this. This was summer camp of Exuperi. We worked there for 4 weeks. I had two groups. First of them was 8 to 10, 8 years. Then the next one was 10 to 12. We had like for each group had 2 leaders, one leader and one assistant. I was an assistant, I had the leader, and approximately we had 160 people in all the camp and 26 leaders. So you see the photos in the upper when you have a future dreams and space Earth station. This is the topics on which we had the script. Like we needed to work. We had every day 2 hours lessons when we needed to create for them a plan, a work that they will experience and communicate with each other. So my finding was, you can see the first numbers is for the first week, for the end of the first week, and the second numbers are the level for the second week, for the last week. The one more time I will repeat it. It was the 10 is the highest one, 0 is the lowest one. So the stress, we can see that it's progressively going down, because the first week you're still in stress of what to do, and the last one you already know. The responsibility is, I think, most important, that you will be responsible for all this for all the time, because you have you're responsible for the kids. So you probably will not have a difference in your level. The problem that you could have, the uncertainties, it's 9 from 5. Why so big difference? Because the first time you don't know what to do anything. This is your first time, so you don't know. But in the end of the last week, you already kind of had approximately 20 lessons with them, and you already know what you need to do for working. So your uncertainties probably will be less. For me, because I'm kind of like, for my personality, unknown people, it's not a problem, so I didn't really have a problem with this. Different with ages, also teamwork, it was the hardest and stressful for me, and I didn't know what to do, because when you first time see a leader, you understand, for example, me, I'm really responsible for this, but he can be not responsible, and these leaders that we could have a problem with each other, that our communication, like the problem with communication and with responsibility. So the first week, I didn't know will it happen good, but already in the last one, you're already working as a group, you already team, everything is going down. The physical, because you're working almost every day for 11 hours, you have of course less sleeping time, because you are, in the end of the day, you're trying to be the best as you can. And we had, in the end of the day, evening meetings with my leader when we created a plan for the next day. And because we knew that something was not so good, we started to do it as better as we can, and this took us every day more time and more time. So your sleeping time starting to be less, and the length of period of work, because you're working already like at the start is only like first week, but in the end it's already 4 week. You already really stressed and you have almost no time. The professionals, you already understand that your big long or term experience are not so hard for you, because you already have like 4 weeks, and this is going on also now, like also the skills also coming to you really quickly. You understand everything. So like for me, the most important in this presentation would be advice. It would be to people who will be used for the first time, because I found it couple of things that are really important. I think it's not only in summer camp, it's also as educating in teacher and in another one. And the first we will start about that you must love what you're doing, because if you're going to work with kids and you don't like it, people like kids see it. And I saw in another examples when kids don't really, they have a bad communication with each other, with the leader, and this is not really good. So you must love this, or just go to another job. This is like nobody forcing. Then the really like for me, from my childhood, I didn't like them, like growing up saying to me, oh, you're so small, you're a kid. This is, for me, I didn't like it. And when you're talking to your group, you must be in the same level, because when I talking with them in the same level, they acting to me as grown up. They're not acting as small uncontrollable kids. So really important to act to them as you act to your age. This is not, there also no difference. They're also like human being, like different age is not really so important. I mean, like in 8-10, I think like 3-4 we can understand that this is, but I mean like in 8 and overall they already know what to do. So I think that this is maybe some people will not agree with me, but I think that, for example, I have changed 7 schools, and I know about different groups of people. Then we have like a group of people, kind of cool guys, smart guys, and they are all the time dividing, all the time. This is working everywhere. The same I saw it's in the summer camp. We had in both, even 8, 10, 10, 12, everywhere there. This is really important to look how they're separating in each other, because if we're talking about, for example, cool guys, what I saw in my experience, when we have like one person who doesn't like this everything, and he's kind of manipulating with other kids, and he kind of a group leader, so they are coming to him. Really important to somehow move him from there, and trying to mix kids, because mixing will help you attention, because the harder thing that and you need to do it as fast as you can, because if you're not doing this, there will be really as a stone, and you cannot separate. If you're doing it at the start from the first day, it will be really easy for you in next to communicate with them and to give them a lesson, a good lesson. Also for me, because it's everything what I saw from kids, and my advice is everything when I was like in their age, and I understand what I wanted from a leader that they would do. For me, it was really important to ask questions, because when I'm asking questions, I want to know something, and for leaders, it must mean that he interested in this topic. But sometimes I saw that leaders are not so, like, or teachers don't want to answer them, or because they're thinking, oh, they're too easy, or that sometimes people just didn't understand it from the first time, and you need to explain second time. And this is, I think, most important to explain and not be angry. So this was kind of a part, how to communicate, how to act with. Second one would be the planning, how to work, that you will have a good material and everything. So firstly, I think a simple thing that you can do is create a plan. And probably the plan would be good if you're creating for 1 week. Of course, it will not work in some places. This is like surely, even it's okay. This creating of plan will lead you that you will have, like, not at the last moment you will create something, but you will have already some kind of a form what you will do. Next one, for me, because firstly it was summer camp, so we needed not to do as a lesson, as you must learn what is multiplication or anything like this. We needed to create something cool and something that they would like. That's why I added a photo of the upper part when you have stones and the water. This was one of our lesson, and this was talking about artificial intelligence, because this what was created. This is, I think, this photo from kids, because what I found, this is what they created. You could put the stones, and we had kind of this funny lesson, because firstly, this is computers. This means we are not we are not so lazy, and we will work something technology, of course. Secondly, it's something new, and they can do imagination, their own imagination. This is, I think, really cool when people can create something. Then you explaining them what is algorithms in some point, why for example the stone would be like this, why water would be like this, and how in a simple way. And this topic, the kids from 10 liked it, and 10-12 liked it. But for example, next one is a TED video that you can see. The next one I added, we showed it to kids, to the both group. First one we see. Yeah.
Sorry, you're left. It's 2 minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. We see that he doesn't have a legs, and for example, for the 10 from the 8-10 kids, they didn't like it because this was boring. This that. But for example, 10-12, they really much liked it. It was really fun, and they wrote a lot of things about it. So really important to understand the ages and what would be good for them. And I think quickly about the second, last photo. The last photo is how our class looked like. We had different areas. We had the area when you can see when in the middle, when we could work with kids. The sofa where they could separate, because they had the breaks when they could separate in their groups. And in this moment, for example, you can see which groups are separating. And this is in this, you must have some interesting area that it would be not so boring. And I think the last what I will try to say, it's about the communication with your leader. You really need to communicate. You're a group. You will have sometimes fails, but this is really important to be with each other and help. If you are not really communicate with him good, so try to ask maybe organization to change him. But in overall, really must that you will have a good connection, that you will have a good time together all these 4 weeks. Yes, I think this is, if you have some questions, you can ask them. I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, Lev. That was very interesting, and thank you for sharing your personal experience. Great job. Once again, we're starting a discussion for 5 minutes. Dr. Joy Lee, you're welcome to start.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for your sharing, and I think the whole structure of your presentation is very clear, and the findings are very interesting. And I actually have 2 questions. The first one is that you mentioned about you using action research methods. I'm just wondering, why do you choose to use these methods, and will you choose another method in the future? And what do you think is what is the strongest part of your work?
Okay, about the active research, because for me, I think for me the simple thing is to see, because when I'm working, when I see it, that means for example, it's true then, and for me, it's meaning that it would be true. That's why I think this is the best thing that you can do in working with kids and with findings. It's work by yourself and understand what they need. Mm-hmm. About the second question, I think for me, as I already said, that for me the main part is for me is advices, because that's what I wanted to see from already, not me as a teenager, but people who are already older than me, that they will see it, because things are really simple. They're not really hard, but they're not all the time seeing from teachers. That's why for me was really advice that acting of how teacher must act to them and help them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I see that Miss Fleur has some question for you, Lev.
Yeah. Lev, first of all, sorry, it's very echoey here. I'll take my hat off to you because, first of all, the number of skills that you've shown in this experience is absolutely astounding. Collaboration, communication, problem solving, on top of your research skills, it's really, really impressive. I was wondering, the fact that you not only had this experience, but that you, on top of that, applied a research method to your experience. Do you think that the fact that it was a research as well as an actual experience helped you to enhance your learning?
I think it because how to explain this? I think research, of course, but it was not exactly that I thought, oh, now I will do a research, because it's like in before this, I started to do the research before, and I started. But this what like. I did it by myself already in my brain. It wasn't that I shouldn't do it. So this research was kind of my own research for working to kids, because you must do it in the future, because I already had, after this, I had the other places when I worked and when I used to. So this kind of was my research, my own research without any structure, but this is with own findings.
It was a bit, some of it was retrospective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question, and thank you for your answer, of course, Lev. Miroslava Chernachova, you're welcome to ask a question as well.
Thank you. Thank you for description of your experiences. In my university, we very often organize summer suburban camps for children, and we could see that it's very important also to collaborate with parents. Do you recommend also this under your experiences, or do you think that it's not so important? Because if you don't know the background of children, sometimes there could be some unexpected situations which maybe you cannot solve. Also, you are educated and you have a lot of pedagogical background, but in fact there are some psychological and maybe medical problems which it's necessary to know before. Thank you.
Yeah, as I would say, we are kind of in country Latvia, like it's kind of where people not all the time saying, and parents saying about some issues that their kids can have, because this is in our, like in our culture, this is not what we are like to do. So sometimes we are not getting this information, and we are like not all the time parents will help us. Yes, of course, communication with parents would be important, but not all the time, because kids sometimes trying to be their own already, be grown up, and when you're talking all the time with kids, it's, I think, not with parents, it's not a good. But if there is, I had a problem, yes, when two sisters they are sisters, and they have, then then we talked with parents, and we had a conversation that you have a conflict and we are not. But when I see that, for example, kids have some problems and with attitude or with something, I'm trying to talk with them really easily, like, what is something happened, where do you need help, because I know that parents not would provide me any information if they didn't, because we like in the application of the form, we have everything, the level of English, the what they concern, what they allow to food, what they're not, but not because like in this obstacle where I am and where was the camp, parents will not tell you everything. So you kind of must work with your own in this situation and trying to do as much help as you can do.